Justin Fields. This is an interesting one. Justin Fields was traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Okay, Jess. Here we go. Because this is an interesting thing. Let me be very clear when I say this. I'm out on Justin Fields. Justin Fields is getting ready to find himself in a situation. And guess what? Y'all will be able to pull this back up later on. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I'm looking at Justin Fields and I'm saying to myself, when major assets were not given up for you, there is no real pressure to truly develop you. If a first-round pick was given up for you, 2 second-round picks were given up for you, some real assets were given up for you, then that next team is kind of almost forced to make it work. Justin Fields is finding himself in a situation now where you might be getting passed around. And I like the place that you landed. The Bears said they were going to do right by you, and they were a list of teams that they had, and you chose Pittsburgh, and so they made it work with Pittsburgh. But I'm out on Justin Fields. I don't see what other people are seeing. I don't see the upside in Justin Fields. I know that he has athletic ability, but if you can't pass the football, and you're not in the right system that's going to cultivate your running ability, a la the Ravens with Lamar Jackson, then you become lost in the sauce. And I just don't think I'm not a believer of Justin Fields. I'm just not the person, the player. I don't know him as a man, so I'm not attacking his character. But as a player, I think it's finito for him. But not to be a hypocrite, I do think going to Pittsburgh will help. I think learning behind Russell Wilson or learning with Russell Wilson gives you a different perspective. I do think Mike Tomlin, and he said it on countless equations, he goes, I run to coaching. Coaching is in my DNA. So he looks at these projects and he goes, I want to coach that. And he always talks about it's lazy for a coach to say that a player can't learn. Every player can learn. Are you willing to coach them in a style in which they're capable of retaining the information? So while I'm out on Justin Fields, and I don't think this is going to work out with Justin Fields having a resurgence in his career and becoming what people believe that he will become coming out of college, I do think it's a help. I think Justin Fields can play in this league. I don't think Justin Fields is the premium franchise quarterback that those that thought he was. But I do think it's a win-win for Pittsburgh. They signed Justin Fields and they signed Russell Wilson. Both of those guys I think is an upgrade from Kenny Pickett and what they had. So that gives them a little bit of an advantage there. I think Russ has a little bit left in the tank. He's going to play behind a good running game. He's going to play behind a good defense. So he won't have to be dangerous. He can just kind of be Russy. You know what I mean? I have a love and an admiration for Mike Tomlin as a coach. I think he's a leader of men. I think he can coach his tail off. And I think it will be good for Justin Fields to be around him. I don't think it'll be enough to turn Justin Fields' career around. I think Justin Fields is finding his way. He's finding his way on the Jameis Winston, Tyrod Taylor type trajectory, where you go and you be a backup in the National Football League for the next 5 to 8 years. Not a bad gig. Not a bad gig. But I don't foresee the franchise quarterback getting another opportunity to go and lead a team. Because you got to remember, there's a bunch of young quarterbacks coming in this year that they're going to try to develop, and there's more coming every single year. And so while your opportunities will get less and less, those will get more and more. And you'll get a chance to have a veteran leadership, and you'll have coaches that you've been around that take other positions and other jobs. I think that'll help you keep you employed in the league. But I don't believe that Justin Fields is on the path to get himself back to being the franchise quarterback that most thought he was coming out of college. And again, this is not a shot at Justin Fields, the man. This is as a player. I don't see it. I see flashes. You can't be inconsistent in this league. Inconsistency in this league makes you a backup. It's can you come in and give me a game or two, but you can't give me a season. And that's literally what makes people backups. Good enough to be in this league, too inconsistent to be a starter. And I think that's where Justin Fields is at. Well, I think the Bears screwed themselves. And this is why bad franchises stay bad for a long time. Because of management. Because if I'm the Chicago Bears, you knew. I'm not saying that you had to 100% know, but you had to have a large portion of your mind made up on which way you were moving going forward. At the end of the season, you knew where you were drafting at. You knew where your draft pick was going to be at. You knew the cards that you held. And what you did, Chicago, you went to the poker table and you tried to bluff folks. And you tried to bluff and you tried to bluff. And boy, what do they call it in poker when they turn the cards over? What do they call it, man? The turn? What do they call it, T? When they turn the cards over in poker? The flip? And boy, when they turn those cards over and you realize that you were no longer in control, you screwed yourself. Because if you were going to turn Justin Fields into first round picks or high draft picks, you should have dealt him in January. When the market was still open for teams that were looking to fill the quarterback position. But you let guys get traded, you let guys get signed, you let teams solidify their future and where they were at with starting quarterbacks and backup quarterbacks, and you let guys move amongst the draft picks to position themselves to go and get a draft pick when you knew good and darn well that you were going to take quarterback number 1 overall. You knew that. We knew it. You knew it. And you waited. And the market dried up on you. And when the market dried up, you tried to play hardball, and they said, we ain't giving you nothing for that young man. Keep him. Keep him. We figured out the rest of this. The pieces would be already beginning to move. You were late moving the chess pieces. You playing checkers, everybody else playing chess. You screwed yourself. And now you got imitation meat from Subway sandwich for Justin Fields. You screwed yourself. You played a game that you aren't good at playing at, and it backfired on you. When Justin Fields had a little bit of a buzz, and he had a little bit of an opportunity maybe to kind of fetch some decent draft picks, you screwed yourself.